So the last time we saw Barry, he was doing my E85 system on my GSR. We thought we'd pop in and have a look at what he's up to. I've heard he's got a new project on the go, and as usual, it's going to be a Mitsubishi. So in typical Melbourne weather, every time I seem to come to your place or you come to my place, it's freezing. Today is 9 degrees. It's been hailing.
We just missed the hail. And
this is why your Galant's outside getting nice and wet, which is unfortunate. But this is how I met Barry, through this Galant. This is a pretty serious car. You had a dog box in it. You had, I think it was a 2.4 T51. You had a dual fuel setup, and that's not LPG and petrol. That's petrol and E85. A lot of things actually done with this car. What's the basic setup of this one?
Yeah, so this was originally built as, this was my P-plater car. So, you know, I had this since, 2019? My first car was actually a Mazda 626, and that was all audio. But this one was my first sort of performance car. Yeah. And I don't know what led me to it. It was I just wanted a sleeper. You know, I just wanted something that didn't look fast and upset a few people.
This is a Magna though, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, you look at the with the boot. I've actually got Magna badges for this car. I don't have it on at the moment, but you know, you look at it from the side. It does look very much like a Magna. I've got a sticker here. It says E39A, but I've actually got another sticker that says Magna, which I haven't stuck on. But maybe one day I will.
So this is the type of car that you've started off with and you'll probably never get rid of. That's the one.
Yeah. This was my sort of pride and joy, and everything I learnt about cars sort of started here.
You've had a few 4G combos in this, haven't you?
First one was 2.3. Actually, besides the stock motor, 2.3. Then from a 2.3, it made 330 kilowatts, and after that was on 98 fuel, and then after that I went a 2.4 after the cylinder split, the bore split on the dyno. So I went a 2.4, and that made 425 kilowatts at 4 wheels, and that ran a 1093 at 135. 135
on pump fuel, unleaded.
On unleaded, yeah. But that was on the small turbo setup. That had a GT35. The 425 kilowatt was with the T51. So I never really got good results out of the T51. Just problem after problem. But the GT35 on unleaded 98 with 1093, that was probably, you know, the only time it sort of was reliable.
So this, obviously, if you know early Evos, this is a similar drivetrain, but it's actually, it's kind of you'd say it's better really, isn't it? It's stronger, it's a bigger, not a bigger engine, but it was, back in the day, the Lancer was built for a rally car, and they made changes and kind of, how would you say,
they shrunk it.
Shrunk it down for response, and so in the end, this has actually got a better flowing cylinder head on it.
Yeah. Probably bigger ports. I mean, better for top end, not necessarily for overall, you know, acceleration down low. I think they went back to the smaller ports purely for the rally aspect. So getting, you know, corners. WRC really drove the evolution piece. So they went into a smaller body, lighter weight, same drivetrain or pretty much the same design. Same engine package. You know, mechanically, they transferred everything from this to a Lancer. Yeah. And that's how the evolution started. So these are called, or some people call them the Evo Zeros.
The Evo Zero, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Or the pre-Evos, or.
So this one's got a Tronic on it.
Tronic SM4 in this one. Yep. I've just changed the seats from a fiberglass fixed back to a Recaro out of an Evo 8 MR, and I've got some nice Bride seat rails from Japan.
Your center console looks very rally inspired too.
Yeah, well, I tried to keep it old school. We've got an old school HKS, that's boost. We've got a fuel tank level sender over there. We've got some USB ports for the ECUs and the dash. Motec SDL. What else can I see? There's a shift light module somewhere, just up here where the factory clock is typically found. There's a shift cut gear knob, which pretty much cuts ignition, so flat shifting, because this originally had a dog box in it. I will be going to auto in the next setup. Apart from that, Autronic ECU.
You're kind of toning this down a little bit so it's more of an all-rounder, is that right? Whereas initially you used to want to have this more of a drag.
I think I took it a bit too far. The whole intention with this is to...
I've never heard that from a car enthusiast.
Well, the carbon fibre, the brakes, carbon fibre boot, then, you know, just the roll cage, it's sort of the noise, the dog box, it sort of took the enjoyment out of driving it.
Yeah.
You know, I was always paranoid, you know, I was thinking other cops,
It's too loud,
gonna pull me over. So I'm gonna take all the carbon fiber off, go back to steel, get it back to like a 10-second, you know, the goal is 9 seconds, and that's still my goal.
Yeah.
But I'll you know, I want to do it in a way where I can drive it on the street and not worry.
And it's nicer to drive. It's
Yeah.
more of a,
Yeah.
a bit more comfortable.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if I do want to go fast, I've got the Galant over there.
What's
under the
under
cover.
What's under this one?
So this here is the car. If I do want to go fast, I'll go fast in this one. I don't have to worry about the cops. I don't have to worry about keeping it street legal. All the carbon fiber will basically go off that silver one and onto here. There's no engine on it at the moment.
So this will be a dedicated race car.
Yeah, and really focused on drag. I've got polycarbonate windows already cut out. It's got a cage. It's, you know, everything's been stripped. Fiberglass seats. It's not going to have any luxuries. It's purely just go fast. So the intention is drop in a 2 litre that revs, alloy rods, very basic combo, and I've got a, you know, G37 900 turbo that probably will be bolted on.
Yeah.
That will get me where I want it to go.
But this auto or manual for this one?
This one will be automatic.
Auto is an absolute, I reckon, a no-brainer for drag racing, even in cars like these.
Yeah.
And you've seen how well it works in the States. They've got so many 8-second DSMs over there.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is the history of this car, I actually bought this car from Newcastle. It had the Aussie record.
Yeah.
It ran a 1096, and I bought it for the dog box. I transferred it on this car, and then I ran a 1093. So this, from what I'm aware, has, you know, I've got the time slip, but it's the Aussie record holder for the Galant VR4. There's a few others that I believe have gone fast, but there's no time slips to prove it. So officially, you know, this is sort of the Aussie record holder. This was the Aussie record holder.
So Barry, another project car, surely LS conversion.
This, close.
Let me guess, another 4G?
What do you think it is? Do you know, like, can you recognize the shape?
Anyone who was into Mitsubishis or hot hatches at the time, this is, I think it's a Satchery GTI, is that right? A Proton.
Hold on, I'll just grab a key missing element that I've taken off. Look at that.
And a dead giveaway is because of the flares these things are in.
That should be here. So there you go.
Now a lot of these Satcheries you see on the road are silver. So this is a unique colour for a Satchery. The difference with this, I know, you've mentioned previously, this has, this one is, well, it's different because it's all-wheel drive, is that right?
Yeah, basically. I actually inherited this car. I say inherited because I had a Nissan Stagia C34, and I was looking to sell it, and someone offered to trade a Mercedes, what was it, a C200, I think they are, supercharged, so I traded that, and then someone wanted to trade me the Mercedes for something, and I was looking to move that on too, so they offered me this car here and some parts, so I took it. So this ultimately came out of a Stagia to a Mercedes, now to this Proton.
So it's a Proton with Lancer GSR running gear, as
Yeah.
you should say, and you can see it's got a 5-stroke conversion, and these are actually, keen eye my spot, these are actually R32 GTR wheels.
There you go, you have the pointer.
R32 GTR.
Yeah, well, I actually, the reason why I traded the vehicle, although these cars are generally quite cheap, what made this so valuable was the fact that it's been fully converted to all-wheel drive using Lancer GSR rear end parts.
And that's a bit of work because you got to pull the floor out, re-weld it. It's not like people just think, oh, it's a similar model, I put it in. That's
and it looks factory. Like
yeah.
if I lift the floor carpet, just looks like, you know, it came out of the factory like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, and it also came with DMS coilovers all around, brakes done, everything done, even engine bay, you know, all painted. Steering rack was done. Pass that over here. I'll show you how to use it. Nice and fresh. Everything painted. What else do we have? We have these I put in myself. These little bonnet struts.
Teens, green. Everything's green. Everything's
You
weird
know,
colours out of Japan.
But the brakes have been rebuilt. The rotors, I believe they're slotted. Can you just confirm that?
Yep.
Slotted rotors came with the wheels. But yeah, it was a good package overall. So I think ultimately, you know, the value for what I traded it for was
This
pretty
is cool
spot on.
too. I reckon finished. This would probably wouldn't be any more than what, 1,200 kilograms.
Yeah.
You can see it's
100%.
only a two-door,
Yeah.
tiny little car. So what I've got here, Baz, 2 more 4Gs. how many of these engines have you got?
Oh, it's a bit warmer here, that's for sure. Give me this. I'll give you a rundown of what I'm doing here. So this is pretty much my tool storage and my garage for now. I can't really do that much in it, but it keeps the rain out and
it's cool.
keeps everything dry. But this 4G 6.3 was originally for, if you see here, I've labelled it AMG. There was an AMG Galant that was made in Japan. I have one. It's not here at the moment.
Oh, this is out of that car,
But this was for that car.
Oh, I see. Yep.
Yeah, but at the moment, I've got someone who wanted a forge mode, and basically, they're buying this engine. So AMG will need to be rebuilt with something else, but this will go into a Lancer GSR conversion.
So this is a 7-bolt, what you call a 7-bolt?
This is a 6-bolt.
6-bolt. This is a 6-bolt too, though.
Both 6 bolts.
It's both 6 bolts.
Yeah. So the 6 bolts have, the larger intake ports, bigger head studs. They're ultimately the same engine. A lot of things are interchangeable, but the 7 bolts came out of the Evo 123s, like what you have, and the 6 bolts they come out of the Galant VR4.
And what's this one? Bright yellow.
Bright yellow. That's the Lemon engine. That's a factory 4G63. That is actually for the Cordia sitting outside.
Baz, the Cordia. When was the last time you saw these on the road? Now, Luke, who's behind the camera now, had one of these cars for about, 20 years. He drove that thing. Instantly recognisable by the wheels, the seats. This is the unleaded model. And you're putting
that yellow engine.
Oh, so it's going to get an upgrade for these are factory 1.8?
Yeah.
Well, this is actually a 4G93, is that right?
No, I think they're
Single
1.8,
cam?
some sort of Cyclone.
Yeah.
I've never really worked on them in stock condition. So 2 litre, 4G63. I'm actually trading the owner of the car for some paint work. So,
okay, cool.
So it's a old school barter. You paint my cars and I'll fix your car.
These are pretty light too. I think I don't even think they weigh 1,100.
Yeah. Well, definitely lighter. Pushing it.
Definitely lighter than that thing. What is that?
This, I'll show you. This
is a car we haven't seen before.
This is what I've been working on recently. It's got the VIP spot under this shade sail. So this is where it stays dry, or mostly dry. You can see just a few raindrops, but it's a GTO, Mitsubishi GTO.
Whereas in Australia, they were a 3000 GT, is that right?
3000 GT.
I get mixed up with it,
Yeah. So 3000 GT was what they were called in Australia, GTO in Japan. But I think the name's the GTO.
Yeah.
It's often used for other makes and models.
So if you've seen, we did a previous video where we actually took Baz's silver GTO for a spin, just to have a go at that car. So that was all factory V6.
Yep.
Now I've heard rumours that this does not have a V6 in it. This has got to be the LS. This has got to be the LS conversion, yeah.
Yeah, I told you I did an engine swap. But,
LS,
Yeah, sadly no. Have a look. What do you think? What do you reckon?
Well, now that I know it's on an LS, part of me thinks, is it another 4G? One of the 15 here. Dun dun. Oh, that's good, Baz.
4G63. That is an engine that came out of a Galant VR4 that I purchased and stripped, and the body was a bit rough, so I thought, what can I use the engine and drivetrain for? I had this shell lying around. I actually bought this shell for the rear diff. When I received it, I actually wasn't intending to build it. It was meant to be a white GTO that I've got that I was...
Do you have another one, yeah?
Yeah. So, but after seeing it in red, I sort of thought, man, red
suits these cars for sure.
Red just looks so much better than the white.
And I like the... this is the first generation, which has got the real... Well, the pop-ups for starters, but it's got that real 90s look.
Well, what's funny is, if you come and look at this thing, right? That there is meant to be a very GTO or 3000 GT thing. They call it the moustache.
The moustache?
Yeah, so, recognisable. I was actually going to go red and cover it, but yeah, I'm thinking I might leave it now because it's very GTO-ish to retain. But the pop-up lights are meant to be here. I won't have pop-up lights, but yeah, 4G63.
Big question, why not do the V6? Is it just because you've got so many 4G parts and these engines backwards?
Yeah, exactly. It was a case of I didn't want to reinvent the wheel. I didn't want to go 6G, learn, develop, buy. And I had so many spares, so many parts, so many knowledge I've gained with 4Gs. I just thought, no, I'm just going to drop a 4G.
Yeah, a bit more room than the old Lancer engine bay too.
Well, the silver one that you guys took for a spin, what put me off the 6Gs, just the space. This rear mount here, to get that actual bolt loose on the 6G, I had my dad on this side, I was on that side. I had to have specific length, extension bars, and it took me, I reckon, 2 shopping trips to Total Tools to buy the right lengths, and it took me maybe 4 hours to actually just break that bolt. So that's sort of what put me off, because the turbo is located here. You just have so much stuff in the way, and with the 4G, it's just space. You can just do whatever you want.
So what are your plans with this car? What are you building it for?
This car is actually, I'm focusing on at the moment. Its first version of it is a basic budget, circuit sprint.
Oh yeah, circuit car. Yeah.
So moving away from drag, I just want to have fun. I'm sick of making big power and breaking it, and not really getting to enjoying it. I'm happy. I'll be happy with 200 kilowatts.
You get a lot of seat
every
time
day.
too. Taking it to the circuit. So what are you doing inside here?
Free mods. Dry ice, sound deadening removed, dash pretty much gutted, wiring removed.
Nice seats. Hang on, I've just spotted a what's this lantern thing doing in here? What's this?
Right, turn it around. You got to look at the curve. So you see this crack right there?
Yeah.
All right. That's an air intake. It's an actual HKS part for the GTO, and typically it'll sit somewhere here. Airflow meter will bolt onto there, but the GTOs had twin turbos, so it'll split.
Oh, I fed to both.
Both turbos.
But you want to use it on this car, do you?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and retain some, GTO parts on this. Washer bottle is probably the only thing at the moment, and transmission bracket. But that's, apart from that, engine-wise, it's all 4G.
Now I know you, Baz, you love powder coating. So this is going to be, what, half a show car when it's finished? Every part under the car is going to be brand new?
It's, you spend a couple of minutes extra on...
I know. It's a lot, the finish on miles better.
Powder coating it, yeah. I just don't want to slap it together and then regret it after, might as well do it now. But that's all factory parts, just new bushes, and like I said,
these are off this car, are they?
Yeah, they're Enki RCT or RCT4s, I believe. But they're nice wheels. They're very light.
And what are you doing with the brakes?
Brakes, I've got Evo 10 brakes. They'll be going on, factory Mitsubishi Evo 10. Bigger brakes, 330 mil. Actually, 350 mil rotors.
350, I think. No. And this is factory, this wing, is it?
That's a Combat. They're known as the 3rd generation Combat wings. They're very. You look at it, it's very Evo 6-ish.
Sounds like it come from the Mortal Kombat days. Now this is a cool car. I like these models. You don't see enough of these on the road. It's just everything's GTR, Nissan.
Yep. I'll show you. Rear end. All I've got mod wise. Wiper delete. So no wipers, no trim. Once again, sound deadening removed. But look at that strut brace from Japan.
It's kind of interesting actually. I've never noticed, but if you look at the car, you're actually expecting it to be more like a boot.
But you know what's funny? It's misleading because you open it up, you put a box in here, and the box, sort of fits.
You're right, yeah.
And then you go to close it, and it's like, why isn't this thing closing? So yeah, it's
because this is not very deep at all.
Nah.
Baz, what is that?
Yeah, I'll show you. Give me that.
So this
give me
is
that pointer.
I know this is a CB. Is it called a Lancer?
It's actually a Lancer GSR.
This is a Lancer GSR.
Yeah. So these Lancers actually were sold in Australia as GSRs, as NA 1.6 front wheel drives. But I bought this car purely, unfortunately, to strip. The reason being it's all wheel drive.
It is all wheel drive.
This is from Japan.
Oh,
so
really?
This is an all wheel drive version. But this one also has a 4G63 and a gearbox. So.
Another 4G63. Baz, instead of stripping it, I reckon this would be a cool full boost project car. This would make an unreal sleeper. Who would see? Here we go. Look at this.
Yeah. So out of the factory, 4G63, it's actually 4G61, so 1.6 litre, but this has been converted to a 2 litre VR4, and it's got all the fancy fabrication.
Half donuts welded together.
Yeah, old school alloy fab.
I know. Oh, and she got the TIE Fighter blow-off valve. What's that?
That's your HKS.
Yeah.
That's 50 kilowatts right there. But you know, full boost. You want to build a project car?
This would be a cool car. It's pretty similar in engine bay to a CC when you look at it. Really, it's not that different.
Yeah. So this has the 6 bolts, so the mount.
You're right. The mount's different. Yeah,
Yeah.
but the actual size of the car. How much do you reckon this car would weigh? 1,100 kilos.
We can negotiate after this. You know, show me the money.
Baz, the clear coat, nearly as good as my Lancer.
What about the optional feature from Mitsubishi? There you go.
If you don't know Mitsubishi, they're notorious for roof rust. This is just standard issue.
Is that Lancers mostly?
Mostly, but there wasn't it caused by the wrong glue or something back in the day?
Yeah, there's a adhesive they use underneath where they stick the roof frame or the internally, and it absorbs moisture and just rusts from the inside out.
I reckon sleeper, even put these back on factory roof racks, this would be killer. So Baz, I think what I would like to do is follow the GTO, because it's a different car, it's a circuit car too, and just look at your progress. It also shows you're a true backyarder in what you're doing here. People will say they haven't got enough room. You're doing it under a tarp in 9-degree weather. It's pretty nasty out here today, but you make the most of it. You're very pragmatic in how you go about things. I reckon this will be a cool car to follow. So we're going to cover more of Baz's build of the GTO as it gets closer and closer to the track, and hopefully we'll end up there together, do a bit of a track battle.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. I think I'm really keen to see how this is typically called a fat.
It's a heavy
fat
car.
whale, heavy. It can't go fast. So really, I haven't driven it hard at the track. I'd love to test it and hopefully prove some people wrong.
So a big challenge of this car is to really pull weight out of it. So
yeah, I agree. To catch up to your Lancer.
I was going to say I've got about 500 kilo advantage so far.
I think I've got to take all the doors off, all the body parts off, and I think I'll be there. But yeah, I'll do what I can in the build and help provide you with content for sure, 100%. And hopefully when your Lancer goes out, I'll clean it up.
Or at least 4G will win the day, huh?
Do you want me to use it while Geordie's talking and just like be annoying him? Yeah. Huh? Instead?